You can fit 64 guys on 1 square foot. So on a 4x8 sheet of plywood, you can actually fit 1,948 guys. I would go and make a grid with 1.5 by 1.5 inch squares on it, and then that way you know that's the spacing you're going to need for your guys. Now obviously, if you're going to build a platform or something for the guys to stand on, you may want to start out, if you want the finished area to be, for example, this big to fit 9 guys on it, that it's going to be actually this is 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, gives you enough space to hold 3x3 guys. So if you know that's what you want your finish area to be, and you're carving something down like a rock, a piece of foam to be a rock for those guys to stand on, you're obviously going to need to go a bit bigger on each side. So maybe an extra 1.5 inches, and that'll give you more than enough space to carve down to give your finished height. Because the one thing that's obviously going to be annoying, that if you go and cut a 4.5 and a 4.5 inch piece of foam, and you know that 9 guys can stay on that if you go to carve that down now to make it visually interesting, now all of a sudden it's going to be a lot smaller, and you're not going to be able to fit 3x3. You're not going to be able to fit 9 guys on it, because by the time you carve it down, you're only going to be able to hold 4 guys on it, for example. So this little piece of cardboard comes in very handy. And I did it I made it look just like a piece of graph paper. I used a blue pencil crayon on a piece of white cardstock that I picked up. I think it was $1, from the dollar store. Here's an AT-43, I guess 25 millimeter figure that's sitting on a piece of terrain. And this is with the same 1.5 by 1.5 square grid behind it, so you can get an idea of the scale of the guy in compared to the scale of the terrain. So you can see that he's about 1.5 inches high, and he's also sitting, I adjusted the grid in the back to be sitting right on the same level that he's sitting on. Here's an AT-43, I guess 25 millimeter figure that's sitting on a piece of terrain, and this is with the same 1.5 by 1.5 square grid behind it, so you can get an idea of the scale of the guy in compared to the scale of the terrain. So you can see that he's about 1.5 inches high, and he's also sitting, I adjusted the grid in the back to be sitting right on the same level that he's sitting on. So this is the height of the guy. So he's probably like an inch and maybe 1 7/8, 1 3/8, but that's why I just picked 1.5 inches, because I added the base in as well too. So when I come down level with the ground, you can see now that he's about 1.5 inches tall. So again, that's just for scale more than anything. So with our man standing on the base that he comes with, taking a close look at it, he's about 1.25 inches high, or tall I should say. And so with that, I've split the guy into 1/4 inch increments, and beside him, that is a set of stairs. Well, a makeshift set of stairs for this demonstration. The first step, I made it at 1/4 inch, and then the second step, I made it at 1/2 inch, and then the next step is obviously at 3/4 of an inch, with the guy being 1.25 inches tall.